I don't know how this video is going to go because I haven't really talked about it. So, baby was due on November 14th. If you're watching this, it is, definitely, it's probably a week past November 14th, give or take. So, a lot's happened between now and then. But I thought, if I'm going to do this whole postpartum journey thing and share it with people on the internet, um, that this is probably going to play a role in how I am postpartum. So went to the doctor Wednesday before my due date. I haven't had any contractions, no signs of labor, mucus plug is still there. I had some or have some cramping, like they feel like period cramps. But really nothing that would indicate that I was gonna have a baby soon. And I was okay with that. I am okay with that because I know that first time babies usually come a little bit later. So a lot of people have been asking me and some of my family members how big the baby is. And I don't know. It's not something that I really was wanting to care about too much. But I was instructed to get a weight at this appointment. So I go to the appointment with my lover's mother, which is, essentially my mother-in-law. And we ask about the weight. They measure my belly. And he's like, And then he takes the ultrasound and does a measurement there. And baby at the doctor's appointment was weighing 4.8 ounces. And I don't know, for me, when people say oh, my baby's in the 10th percentile or 25th percentile, I'm like, that sounds great. I don't really know what that means, but, and maybe I should after this. And so I was like, that seems really small because on my What to Expect app, I think they're supposed to be weighing 7 to 8 pounds now, somewhere around there. And so he was concerned. He just wanted to get double checked on the size. And so I wasn't really panicking at that point, but I was like, that seems really small. And I definitely did genetic testing. I felt like that was something I wanted to do. Everything came out normally there. We've had 2 anatomy scans. Everything was normal there. So it was a little confusing on why the baby would be that small at this point. And so he said the high risk OBGYN, that practice that I had been to before, because they do the anatomy scans at that office, said they would contact me. And I said, okay, great. So fortunately, I was able to get in the following day, pretty early in the morning, which made it a lot easier mentally, because that way I didn't have to sit around. And Michael, who's my significant other, if you're not familiar with him, he had some concerns about why we didn't know this sooner. And I kind of shut that down a little bit because it was one of those things of if it was an emergency, I'd be at the hospital getting induced. If this was something really critical, we would be having different plans of action right now. There hopefully wouldn't be a delay in my care. So we go to the other doctor's appointment the following day, and the gal doing the ultrasound or sonography wasn't, she was a very sweet woman, but it kind of flip-flopped back and forth of concern to, oh, we're okay, concern about this thing, and then we would find out it was okay. So there was internally a lot of kind of what? Oh, okay. What? Oh, okay. Going on in my head. And at this point, I had a very, I come from a medical background. And at this point I had a very medical kind of perspective of this is just the protocol. This is what we do. And, kind of almost separating myself from the experience, I think, if I'm going to be completely honest, mentally. So she affirmed that we definitely will have a small baby. Okay. Small babies are born every day. And I'm not a very large person. I'm maybe 5'2", and my average weight is maybe anywhere between 130 and 150, depending on where I'm at in my body. So I'm not a large person. Michael's not a large person, in general. So, okay. And genetics can play a role in the size of your baby. So she affirmed to us that everything was good. The high risk doctor didn't need us to take any action, and that I was going to be returned back to my original OBGYN and that they would contact me. So I figured, okay, great, everything's good. If everything was an emergency, I would definitely be contacted right away. And so we just kind of moved forward. Michael was upset, rightfully so, and just kind of like, if it is a small baby, why is this just now caught? And what are we going to do? And like, what kind of BS is this, essentially? And I completely understand. My thought was just kind of like, honestly, I shut him down because I couldn't. We had gotten home and I was like, I just need a minute. Like, I just don't feel super reassured. And he was like, well, the baby's okay. He was more upset about like the situation of how it got to that point. And I couldn't take that in because I was kind of trying to process what had just happened, because it made it like real, right? Because I've had a really great pregnancy, I would say, thus far for 9 months. I mean, I had morning sickness and whatnot in the first trimester, but overall, like, I've been very fortunate in my pregnancy. So it made it real of like, okay, so I've been good, and now something's gonna happen now, like in the last, like literally the last day that this baby's supposed to be in me, something's gonna happen. Like, what the fuck is that? So I was trying to process that, and we came back together later that night and made sure, like, did a check in with each other, and we're all okay. So I got acupuncture that day. I still did my like bare minimum of like 2 things to try and induce labor, still nothing. I went to acupuncture again yesterday, which was Friday, and now today's Saturday. If you're watching this, it's the 16th. So nothing again, like literally have no, like if my belly didn't get like a baby popping out of it and like kicking me, I probably wouldn't think I was pregnant. I would think I was on my period. Um, so that's a little frightening at this point, whereas before it was like, oh, this is great. But now it's kind of like, well, wait, why not? So yesterday I get home and I get a call from my doctor's office, and I'm thinking it's a reminder call from when I have an appointment the following week. And no, it's one of the gals to schedule me for an induction. And I was really caught off guard. Michael was at home at the time, and I had a girlfriend that was on her way over just to hang out. And she said, we're going to schedule you for an induction Monday morning. And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just a little caught off guard, because when I left the high risk OBGYN office, they said everything was fine and that I didn't need any concern. And now you're calling me, telling me I'm getting induced. And I said, obviously I'm going to do what the doctor recommends, but it's just a little bit conflicting here. And so she was like that, she expressed understanding, and confirmed with the doctor, put me on hold, confirmed with him. And he, told her if I have any questions, I'm welcome to call him and text him and just work that out. And I said, no. Like, I believe, like, that's fine. And also at my last appointment, I was very happy that I had asked, like, okay, if baby does make it to like 41 weeks and we do need to induce, what are my options there? So we had briefly discussed it. So I already had that little dime piece of information at that point. But it was just like, how did we go from an okay baby to like, I'm going to get induced in 72 hours? And not that there's anything wrong with induction. Like, I am a very big supporter of, you have your birth the way you want it, but I want you to be informed of your options. Hence this docuseries, hence my Mindset of Mommies program. And so it was, it's just a lot, because you're like, it's really interesting, because you hear the women talk about it from a friend or a coach's perspective, or just, a family member. And then you start going through it yourself and you're like, wait, what? So I don't know how I feel, because I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out like if I'm suppressing myself and like trying to disconnect so I don't have to feel, because that's something I'm really good at when I don't want to. And that's like a past behavior of mine. Or is it that I am just trying to go through like step by step, and I'd like to think I'm doing the latter of like, I'm just trying to get to this point. So for example, this morning, on Saturday morning, I'm going to work out. I'm going to do a lighter load. I'm going to think of it more like a deload, because I definitely don't want to be sore going into labor on Monday. But I'm focusing on what I can control. In the past, I would have used exercise and I honestly probably would have came in here and gone gung ho for it, because I would have been like, well, like, first of all, I would have been trying to suppress how I felt and like trying to feel just like the pain through lifting. Um, but we can't do that. And so that's progress, right? Um, and then at 9 a.m. today, fortunately, I have a call with my doula to like kind of go over a plan. So originally my plan was no medication, like just hopefully pop into labor and go from there, and have as much natural childbirth as I can. But obviously, that's not going to happen anymore. So we're going to figure out which induction method is going to be best for me. I have a fear that it's going to lead to one thing to another, and I don't want that. And I think I'm like pretty upset that it wasn't caught sooner, so I couldn't like have more time to prepare. But maybe that's a better thing. I also The other really hard part is, and I think a lot of moms will recognize this, is excuse me. Okay, sorry. I think a lot of moms will recognize this too. Is literally everything you do, you're like, is that because of this? Is it because of this? Is it because of this? Like, is it because I have LMNT in my water? Is it because like I didn't take a prenatal and I just did like a bunch of individual supplements that I felt like were better? And it was like, no, my blood work was okay this whole pregnancy. Um, is it because I didn't increase my calories, right? Like, because I pretty much stayed at 2,400 the whole time. And it wasn't like out of fear of gaining weight or anything. It was literally like I just wasn't hungry for more food. Is it because I worked out too much? Like, is it, and even so, it's like, did all of this happen because of something I did? And like, obviously, people have had, there is, I am so fortunate that like the baby's okay, and that I'm okay, and that, I don't have to go to the hospital right this second. But you're just kind of like, is there something I could have changed? And then to make it even worse, is trying to figure out like how to induce labor. Like, and it's for me, it's kind of fun, like because I teach it and I love this field, and I've learned so much, and I get to learn so much from my clients, and I like to test things on myself. Why not? Hell. So it's like did the dates, did the pineapple, had the sex, had the raspberry iced tea, went for walks, curbed walk, went to acupuncture, did Webster techniques with my chiropractor, hip mobility, like all the things. I'm sure there's other things that I'm missing that people would be like, you didn't do this. And it's like, should I have had more sex? Like, like, should I have maybe started something sooner? Maybe I should have had the 6 fucking dates a day, even though they're like 600 calories with like 80 grams of sugar, it's, I don't know. So I would highly recommend you don't Google, because I started doing that last night and I was like, okay, yeah, I can't do this. So we'll see. But I felt like this is something I'm not going to share on Instagram. My clients right now know it's happening, because obviously I'm not going to be in like as readily communication with them. I'm not sharing this with like some of my friends. Some know, some, but most don't, because I don't want girl power. Like, I appreciate it, I love it, but like I need a minute. And I kind of just want to be at home and be with Michael and have a plan and start preparing myself mentally. And I think I would do that whether like I had the induction or not, like if I was actually having labor cramps. So mentally, I'm just trying to like prepare myself and think of like, okay, the tools that I have, the knowledge that I have, how can I implement that? How can I lean on my support? Thank God I have my doula. Thank God I have like a supportive husband, spouse, whatever the fuck we are, who's pretty calm, overall. I have great parents that support me too. And so we're just ready, but it's just not the circumstance that you would hope. So basically, baby's too small. And so we got to get baby out sooner than later. Now, again, I've made it past my due date too. So, I mean, there's joy in that. So mentally, that's where I'm at. And I'm sure this will play a role postpartum. Why not? Everything does. Physically, like I said, I am going to work out today. I'm going to go a lighter weight. So, like, for example, I'm going to do some box squats. Last week I was doing them at 190 pounds. Today, I think I'm going to stay with probably about 125. So a significant drop. I'm just going to go, just thinking of it as moving my body for my emotional health right now, and kind of killing time too, right? Because I don't want to sit with myself and be Googling and thinking. Nutritionally, I did have the thought of being like, screw it. I might as well have whatever I want then. I might as well just go for it, because what does it matter if I already did this? Like, if the baby's already not growing, like, I don't know. Obviously that makes no sense, right? But that's where a lot of our shit comes from. It doesn't make any sense when we actually look at it. And I thought, no, no, no. We're going to like still eat nutrient dense food and get the calories to the baby. And like, they need them and I need them, especially right now for like going into labor. Like, I essentially need to probably do like a mini bulk now that I'm talking out loud for the next couple days. That way my body has extra energy, and a mini bulk is essentially eating above my maintenance calories. So for example, I have about 2,400 a day on average. Let's say I'd probably need to have like 2,600 for the next couple days, just to give my body some extra fuel. And it doesn't necessarily mean eat more. Like, I can just add more butter, more oil, more avocado, like high calorie foods. So we'll see. By the time you watch this, I will have a baby. We will know what it looks like, and we'll know if it's a boy or a girl. I might come on here crying every day. I hope I don't. I hope I give you some perspective from what it looks like. And I hope that, if you found that this message or these feelings helped you in some way, please let me know. Um, if you feel like you want support, reach out. I think that's about it. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. This was a long video. This will probably be one of my longer videos, and we'll call it good there. So hope y'all have a great week. We'll see you soon with a baby.